Well, like I told you, we want to get into a conversation around what's been happening in the banking sector as well as the security and the ICT framework in the country. And banks have become the leading target of cybercrime as people increasingly adopt the use of financial technology. According to Rihanna's report, cybersecurity report of 2016, African countries lost at least $2 billion in cyber attacks in 2016. Speaking during the Connected Kenya Summit 2017, Cisco Regional General Manager David Bunei says the increasing use of cyberspace and digital application posed its own challenges, which are, however, outweighed by the opportunities. He encouraged CEOs to make cybersecurity a business priority. In East Africa, Kenya recorded the highest losses of $171 million to cyber criminals, whereas Tanzania lost $85 billion, while Uganda companies lost $35 million, over one-third of organizations that experienced a breach in 2016 reported substantial customer opportunity and revenue loss of more than 20%. This is according to Cisco 2017 Annual Security Cyber Report. And to expand on this issue further, where from the Cisco report, clearly online businesses have a lot of hurdles to surmount in order to ensure they retain the trust of their customers and ensure not just a flawless experience, but also safety and security. And joining us now is the Managing Director for OLX, that is Peter Ndiangui, who is the country manager actually, and many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, of course, looking at that report, it paints a grim picture of the state of cyber security in the country. The president recently assented to the bill, actually last week on Friday. What does this mean for cybersecurity?
Yeah, I think one of the things that is very clear is definitely we need to do a lot of things around cybersecurity. And I think what the country lacked before was a legal framework that can address the various challenges that players in the industry face. I think signing of that bill already starts to show that something is being done. So I think a better legal framework in place. I think to add to it, I would say that we need to extend the capability of the Kenyan criminal investigation capacity to handle cybercrime. I think that's also another area that requires a lot of input from the government.
All right.
Yeah.
And let me just use your company as a case study.
Yeah.
You've not had a high breach of security issues. Yeah. So really, how do you maneuver around this and ensure you protect consumers as they are on the online place?
Yeah, at the web infrastructure level, I think we do quite a lot in terms of investment in our data centers, in the servers that we operate. So there, we have done quite a lot of investment, also having the right expertise in place that keeps monitoring on this type of threats. So I think that from an enterprise standpoint, it's having the right people to protect the company who can be able to detect threats, and also having the right technologies that can help in threat detection, and also being able to predict what might happen. I think when it comes to then, if you detect certain threats, what do you do about them? Then that's where the legal framework is very important to enable prosecution of such individuals.
All right. Perhaps explain to us what could be the underlying factor that has seen a surge in cyber security breaches in Africa?
Well, I think part of it is issues of how we protect our data, the kind of data centers that we run across Africa. The other thing is also the devices that people are using. I think previously protection was much easier when the networks were more closed. Now we are having much more open networks, which are obviously prone to more threats.
Right.
The advent of mobile phones-based internet access presents a lot of potential open networks, which then lead to those kind of threats.
Yeah. And interesting that you bring this up.
Yeah.
Perhaps many companies that have been rocked with the cases of cyber threats, you will find the linkage has also been internal, should I say, collusion.
Yeah.
Former employee, a disgruntled employee. How do you tackle this?
Yeah, this is again quite a lot. I see administration of passwords being quite loose, and that's where many companies might do a good job in how they administer things like passwords. So for example, employees who have left, to your point, how do we administer their passwords? Do we let them go and then we don't even close their mailboxes, or we don't close their accounts that they used to access the company's intranet with? Mm-hmm. So those kind of things can only be done with proper staffing and proper technologies to enable scalability when you want to protect yourself from those kind of threats. All so right. I think employee passwords administration is vital.
All right. Yeah. Speaking about passwords and employees, sorry about that. OLX has been at the forefront in terms of giving Kenyans a marketplace where they can purchase and sell goods. Yeah. And we've seen an upgrade of your system where you've got into other different niches, if I may say so. Yeah. And perhaps just give us an update on how this is panning out.
Yeah, I think it's been a journey. If you look at where we're coming from the last 4 or 5 years that we started, and the usage of online marketplaces was almost unheard of. And then I think now it becomes almost the day-to-day way that people trade. I think it's been quite a journey. So for us, one of the things that has been extremely important is 3 things. One is to continuously enable Kenyans to trade in goods and services. The second thing has also been starting to run a more sustainable business, which is we've started now enabling people to pay on OLX so that they can have the advertisements be seen much more, and we see that consumers who go to paying for advertisements receive at least 3 times more consumers who want to buy their goods. And the third thing has also been to continuously create this value, whereby now we're turning our eyes into niche markets, to your point. For example, we're looking at the car vertical. There we see consumers who want to sell cars having challenges. They just don't want to get engaged in the whole process of being called and going to meet with a buyer. So we want to start helping them. We've just now launched a product whereby you can actually contact us, and we're going to help you sell your car end-to-end, including transferring it through the process that goes through NTSA.
All right.
So that's quite a new one, and we'll be launching it in the market. It's already up and running, and we've seen quite a lot of traction there. I think many people who want to trade in cars usually avoid that hassle. And Kenya's car market is growing very, very quickly. I think as the middle class catches up, we see it's probably one of the things that is having double-digit growth in terms of car ownership. Still very low compared to other markets. The car ownership in Kenya is at about 30 cars per 1,000 people. If you look at it in the US, it's about 500. So we're still pretty backward.
We have a long way to go, yeah.
So the forward is the only way to go.
All right. Yeah. And speaking about this car platform, and as we wrap up, what's in the horizon for OLX in terms of expansion plans?
Yeah, so I think that's one area of expansion, trying to make trade even more seamless, which means us getting involved a little bit more with the transaction than we were doing previously. So the car industry, it's one example that we're starting to do that, and that is going to occupy much of our activities this year, trying to get that right.
Many thanks, Peter Ndiengui.
Thank you, Obi.
Pleasure having you in the studio this afternoon, talking to us on the latest trends in internet business and how you can monetize from using the internet. Quite an interesting conversation there. Of